Welcome back to the Romance of the Wild. It's your girl Charlie. Today we're going to talk about a gay vampire romance. This is Roman Vampire's Mate, Book 1 by Grae Bryan. Hit it!
Grab yourself a book, turn the lights down low. It's time, everybody, for Romance in the Woe.
Okay, so this is Romance of the Wild, girl Charlie, and our book is going to be Roman, which is Vampire Mates Book 1 by Grae Bryan. Now, this is really a unique version of the whole vampire genre, which I really love because it's a situation where, like, when your maker bites you and turns you into a vampire, you end up having, like, what they call sometimes a monster or like a beast within it, and this is what you're feeding the blood for. And you don't have to kill your victims. You can put them in, like, a trance, and then you can feed from them so they have, like, no memory of it. So you don't have to do any of the killings. And at this point, humans don't know about vampires. They just think it's just a myth. It's just a story people have made up. Our main character is Roman. Now, Roman fought in the Napoleon Wars. He's French. He wears suits. He's very polished. And he's heard this rumor that vampires have fated mates. Now, this is just something you have to understand. In this situation, the vampires don't all have, like, cities of vampires. There's not families of vampires. So a lot of vampires don't know each other that well. So Roman has a couple friends, and he heard from his friend Soren, who's in book 2. Love that book. That there's such a thing as fated mates. And when you have your fated mate, that's what keeps the vampire going. Because if you don't find your fated mate, you'll eventually go feral after a long period of time. Now, it's different for each person. So what might take longer for one person to turn feral is shorter for another person. So that gives Roman some hope. There's a possibility that instead of going feral in his life, he can find his fated mate. But the point is also there's a loneliness of the vampires because you don't have families. You know, when you become a vampire, no one's gonna. You can't be with your mom and dad anymore. You can't be with if you have a spouse. Can't be with them anymore because it's just too dangerous. So what happens is Roman is trying to escape. He has a stalker named Lucy. Book 3. Anyway, so Roman is trying to find blood, and he goes to a hospital, and that's when he meets Danny. Now, Danny is our other main male character. He's a nurse. He works the midnight shift, which if you know anything about working at a hospital, because where he works, you're extremely busy. You have to have a moment to sit down, or it's just quiet. There's nothing to do, and it's the boredom sets in. Of course, most people at nighttime, you want to sleep, but you can't sleep because you're at a hospital, obviously. Take care of people. So Danny is a wonderful character because he's so charming and he's sweet. And it's a situation where it's only him and his mom. He has an older brother, but his brother's a doctor doing his internship at the hospital. Now, his brother is kind of MIA when it comes to the family. And so Danny has the responsibility of taking care of their mom. Their mom's in a nursing home, and he has to pay for that nursing home also. His mom has dementia. So it's also like a twisted, bad stuff for him because, again, he loves his mom. That's the only parent he has, and she can't remember him most of the time. And she has her good days, she has her bad days. So his life isn't wonderful. He has, like, one friend that works at the hospital named Chloe that he adores, and she's wonderful to him. Don't get me wrong, but he needs a companionship with someone. So one day Rome comes to the hospital, like I said, looking for blood, and that's when he meets Danny. There's a sense that Danny's special. Something unique about Danny. And of course, Rome is immediately, like, attracted to Danny, and of course Danny is, like, looking at him going, "Wow, you're hot. Why are you here?" And it just kind of seems that maybe he's a doctor or something, because why else would you be on the midnight shift at a hospital? So what happens is that an encounter happens where Danny is getting mugged. Who saves the day? Roman does. He swoops in, takes care of his man, protects him, and that's when Danny finds out about vampires. Now, this is a very beautiful story. It's very romantic. Now, don't get me wrong, the sex scenes are very spicy. Grae Bryan does a great job of making everything very descriptive. They have great conversations. There's a big build up. But the thing I love about Roman is determined to take care of Danny. Not just buy him things, but, like, he makes sure Danny goes to sleep. See, of course, Danny's exhausted because he's taking care of his mom. He's at working all the time. And Roman knows Danny's hungry, so makes sure he buys some groceries and things like that. It's the little things I think are so special in this book. Things like Danny's not telling him these things, but Roman catches on that, okay, well, Danny needs help. Let me be there for Danny. Let me go to the nursing home with him, see his mom, and see if I can help him. Now, in the midst of all this, you have to understand that Lucian is looking for Roman. He wants to punish Roman. Now, so you have this drama, and then it's like, Danny has to worry about, he has other family members. His brother is kind of snooping around, like, who's this guy? And all this intrigue. But in the midst of all this is this beautiful relationship that's going on between Danny and Roman. And then Roman's friend Soren, book 2, shows up. And there's all this drama that happens. It's very well written. I love this book. I actually have read it like 3 times the past 2 months, and I bought the print. It's a wonderful book. I highly recommend it if you like gay vampire romance. Beautifully written. The characters are all fleshed out, so you know what everybody looks like, their background, and they each have a point of view, so you know what each of them is thinking. And it's just beautifully well written. I love Roman, and I love Danny. So that's it for today. This is Romance in the Wild, and again, the book is Roman, The Vampire's Mate, Book 1 by Grae Bryan. I highly recommend it. Until next time,